You had mentioned on a previous conversation about spine easier for patients, but harder for the provider. Can you unpack that a bit?
You bet, you bet. Um, to understand that a bit, let's first look at rigid bracing. What's involved for the provider? What's involved for the patient? So in rigid bracing, the provider takes a digital scan of the patient. We take a scan standing, we take a scan lying down. We incorporate their X-rays into the computer system, and then a computer builds the brace. So you have your rigid brace, and you give that to the patient, and you put it on them. And quite frankly, it's not very comfortable at first. It's uncomfortable for everybody at first. Patients do adapt to it. But by it being a rigid system, it restricts range of motion. And when you restrict range of motion, you make the spine weaker. And so after wearing the brace for 20 hours a day, you have 4 hours out. And in that 4 hours, we ask the patient, now we need you to do an hour of exercise to mitigate the spinal weakness. So in my opinion, that is a lot of work for the patient. That's a lot to ask of a patient. Uh, Not much for the provider to do, but a lot for the patient. Now, SpineCor, on the other hand, is a dynamic system. And since it is a dynamic system, the analysis up front is very detailed. And then when we are applying the bands to the patient, getting them set up, it is also a very detailed system. But the bands provide the rehab. So if the patients, or when, not if, when the patients wear SpineCor, basically all the rehab is being done for them. That is a much more tenable system. Now, on the back end of that, again, since it is dynamic, the patient's posture is going to be changing throughout this as they make improvements. So again, the provider needs to be constantly adjusting the band, not constantly, quarterly adjusting the bands and making changes so that we can get the best outcome for the patient. The provider, they need to be on their toes in the SpineCor system. It's not passive.